This is my review of Clash in Paris 2025. I finally have gotten my AirPods fixed, and I would say this show over delivered because at the start of the month, the card was supposed to be something else after SummerSlam. It got changed due to, pregnancies, them pushing stuff back, to WrestlePalooza, movie shoots and everything. So, you know, looking at all of that, this show was very good. Like, like I think except the Becky versus Nikki match, every match was enjoyable. Like, I don't think there was, I think maybe except Rusev and Sheamus, I don't think any match was like, oh, this is the best match I've ever seen, 5-star match or anything. But I don't think this show was supposed to be that. It was a stop in between all the major PLEs happening in the future, especially WrestlePalooza, where I think we'll probably get a lot of major matches happening because it's their debut on ESPN, their PLE debut on ESPN. And now, talking about the show, the first, like when the Street Profits and the Wyatt Six's entrance ended, already more than an hour of the show had passed, hour and 3 minutes. That's how long the Roman and Bronson Reed stuff went about. I think the match was really good. The crowd was awesome. Like at the start of the match, they were just saying Roman, Roman Reigns, and even the entrances were really good. The one thing that I really liked about how the match was structured, and the producers should be given credit for that, is the way that Bronson Reed was truly seen as an equal. What we have seen in since the vision has come about is that Bronson Reed has been a giant who generally loses, who is a giant but not really. He's kind of like the Bronson Reed of the past before he attacked Seth Rollins. This match, Bronson Reed really felt like he's a giant. Like he countered everything. Even in the starting half of the match, he was already dominating. But even when Roman made his first came back, he countered it quick. Even when there were like 2 3 times when you thought, oh, this is the ending of the match, like Superman punch spear, but those Superman punches were reversed. Even I think the spear was reversed at one time, and in the end, Roman won, and I think this was also done really well, which was Roman, because he won, he took the Shula Fala from Bronson Reed, and then he started signing it and throwing it into the crowd. It kind of felt like it was something that was not written to happen. This was something that he did out of his own goodwill. Not saying that Roman won't do this, but then what happened was Braun Breaker comes out of nowhere, spears the shit out of him. And also, like Braun Breakers, it's really funny because he's trying to control himself from tweaking, and that makes it look like he is disappointed after hitting the spear. That why did I just stop there? He was like, and everything. And then another thing that I liked, it could have just been Braun Breaker getting the push that he's getting anyways, like beating up Roman Reigns and everything, but they gave Bronson Reed something to work with, because he was the one who hit the tsunami, like when Roman Reigns was standing up, then Braun Breaker hit him another spear, then he started tweaking and everything, and in the ring Bronson Reed hit him with the tsunami. All of the like security, Adam Pierce were there, but he was like ooh ah, and everything. Like this really was like Bronson Reed lost nothing by losing to Roman Reigns, because he was the last one standing, and in a way that really solidified him as a giant, because they strapped him onto a stretcher, but even then Bronson Reed like hit him with the tsunami, and that was probably one of the best tsunamis I've ever seen, because he was not just falling, he had direction in his falling, the way he went from this to this. And Jay, and I was like, where the hell is Jay Uso? And I'm glad they had an extended beatdown, because the early beatdown did not warrant Roman Reigns going on a stretcher. And Jay came out very late. He also got speared by Braun Breaker. He was about to get tsunamied, but they like gathered around him, the security and everything, and then they left. And it was, Jay carrying Roman and everything. And now Roman is probably off till Survivor Series season. And I think this was done really well. In a way, it gave Roman a win, it wrote him off, it also gave Jay, like, they protected Jay in that. I thought that they were protecting Jay in this so that when he gets pinned in the main event, it doesn't hurt him even more than it was if it was like a normal fatal four way anyways. But that didn't happen. And I think it was only thing that you can say was that it went on for too long. And another thing, talking about the Vision, Becky Lynch is the new member of the Vision. You can say that it was kinda anticlimactic at first, but when you really think about it in a split second, like the Vision getting a female member and that female member being Seth's wife, like they haven't interacted as a wrestling couple since 2019. Like it's been 6 years because of that disastrous run that they had. And her match with Nikki, I would probably say that was the lowest point of the show because it was like they cared about Becky. They didn't really care about Nikki. They only booed her because they liked Becky and they were not interested. Because when Nikki was making her entrance, she got like a cheer, but it was like from a very small sections. Others did not boo her in her entrance. They were just quiet. And then everything else that happened, that even in the match when Nikki was like hitting her offenses, they booed. But then when they were just standing, there was no reaction from the crowd. And then they were like when she was like choking her out or anything, Becky, then they were like, oh, and everything. And in the end, Becky, I think, won with a roll up. And I think the match wasn't really that great. Like they had one botch, which was like the disaster kick, and Becky was so far away, they had a miscue there. But even then, the match wasn't really great. And Nikki Bella doesn't really have that status among the fans of like a legend, or even like a legend that is like, you do not like them or you're booing them and everything. That doesn't stand a chance there. So that, and in the end, like, I think the fatal four way was really well structured because it had callbacks, LA Knight letting CM Punk fall through a table, CM Punk kicking Jey Uso at the start of the match, and that is what cost them in the end because they were so focused on each other that Seth got the upper hand, and it made Seth look strong. But it was not like he was cheating in the match because in the end he did stomp out Jay, he did stomp out LA Knight. It was just that those guys were too like against each other that it cost them. And in the end, he had like a chair there. I don't think they have done this spot that many times where Seth Rollins went for the curb stomp while the chair was wrapped and CM Punk like removed the chair. So it actually hurt Seth Rollins. And then it was like they had like a callback to the Raw Netflix main event match that they had where like Seth falls on CM Punk's shoulder and CM Punk was like, go to sleep. But then someone came in a black hoodie, low blowed him, and Becky was like, here, you did and everything, while CM Punk was on his knees, and then Seth curb stomp, he wins. They also had a spat with Post Malone and Jelly Roll, and that's how it happened. She's in the Vision. One thing this makes clear is that this has also made like this makes Becky the top heel in the company now. Another thing that has happened is that it makes the Intercontinental Women's Championship much more prestigious than it already was due to Becky, Lyra, and Bailey. The only thing that I am like, this has to lead to AJ Lee coming back because okay, you can have Stephanie Walker teaming up with Punk, you can have Bailey teaming up with Punk, but like the most sense it makes because Seth Rollins was talking about I hate your family and everything. Seth and Becky are a couple. I don't know. I think it makes the most sense. I think AJ should come back. I don't think that that would happen because there have been like times where it looked like the most logical thing, but it still didn't happen. So I'm not gonna like put my hopes into it that it will happen. Though I do say that like whoever now beats Becky for the championship, like they are a ready-made star, and I hope that is how they use the Intercontinental Women's Championship, so that whoever beats her becomes a star then. Going to the rest of the show, I think John Cena versus Logan Paul was really good. I think this was, even though it had like one botch by Logan, like where he was supposed to like stand on his feet and not fall down. But apart from that, very fun match. Like they were all pulling out previous like other people's finishes. Logan hit him with a zigzag. Cena like sunset flip power bomb, a Styles clash, like really showing himself out. And in the end, Cena won because Logan's boasting got to him. I thought that Brock Lesnar would return, but it looks like probably he'll return at SmackDown. This SmackDown or maybe the next SmackDown. So that also happened. I think Rusev versus Sheamus was the match of the night in the good old Ronnie Brook match. I think, especially the ending with the shillelagh, and it was essentially Sheamus pulling himself back. But I think this was the win that the Rusev needed. I just hope now that they don't falter with the momentum because it was Rusev's first PLE match. It happened in Paris. This feud has not really been the most well booked feud because it was like 2 weeks. It will take 2 weeks for them to have one segment on TV. They have not really been using Rusev's backstage vignettes as much. It should be used in his current like redeemer character. I hope they go back into more of his lore with the redeemer character. I think this is the right chance. If they're having AJ facing Dominic, have AJ win, or you can have Dominic retain by Rusev attacking AJ Styles and then go into a Rusev versus AJ Styles feud, either for the Intercontinental Championship or just like a Rusev AJ Styles feud, and have him use the Redeemer gimmick more in his like backstage vignettes and everything, and book him more consistently on a weekly basis with his character, with his feud, so that we know that he's a main character of the show, not just someone that you brought him back and you kind of have to book him. I think this has given Rusev momentum that he hasn't had since he has come back. So they need to do the best with him, for him, and for themselves because Rusev can be a great upper mid card player. I think he can be a main event player also. Apart from that, you had the Wyatts 6 versus Street Profits. Street Profits has the Borderlands entrance. I was about to call it the Alice in Borderlands entrance, but it doesn't make sense. And I didn't expect that. First of all, they also need to decide. Like they add like her, whatever her name is, like in between, and then they take her out, in between and then take her out. The White Six entrance was really good. I didn't like that they cut the music after he had a like they were singing the chorus "Die for me, brother" and everything. And I think this was probably the first match where Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis actually looked intimidating in the ring, and they worked really well together that it didn't hinder them. Like their sizes and their styles of wrestling didn't hinder them in the ring for the first time in a normal tag match. I think you can say the ending was a little bit like a SmackDown tag team match that Montez was really hyped up. He was like, suck it to Uncle Howdy. Nikki Cross like grabbed his leg smart, and then Howdy hit him with the Sister Abigail, throw it into the ring. They hit the plague and won. But apart from that, the match was really enjoyable. Though they had a couple of botches, like especially one I think where they were supposed to catch him and do something, and the other one was where the pinfall break, like referee had to like slow down her count so that they can get in position or like throw him at the right time. But the match was really enjoyable. Like the story was that after SmackDown, after Bo Dallas had really like ignited a fire between two tag teams, Miz and Carmelo Hayes and Street Profits, which kind of cost Miz and Carmelo Hayes their match because there were dissension starting between them, and the Street Profits dissension really started in this match. and you can see that. And I think this is probably the start, because also Dexter Loomis was smart, because in the ring when Nikki was grabbing Montez's feet, Dexter Loomis was like, oh, look at that girl is trying to distract me and everything. So I think this is going to lead to a slow build to eventually I can see Angelo turning heel on Montez. I don't see a heel Montez. I probably see like like a heel Angelo going up against Montez Ford. I think that can be a good feud. And I think I do want to see what they do with Melodon Miz. Like is the Melodon Miz's like title prospect for the tag team titles already over, or are they going to extend this further and have the breakup in the future? Because, uh, like, if looking at how they have set up things, I think that Penta and Phoenix are probably going to Ray Phoenix and Andrade are probably going to Monday Night Raw to help Penta. Apart from that, who are the challengers left who like the Wyatts can face? Like it's Los Garzas and it's Melodon Miz. I think you can say maybe Fraxium, but I think Fraxium is much more like the final opponent that they are probably going to beat them. You need a much more like the challenger next. So let's see what happens with that. I'm just glad that I think it's been years since the tag titles have been defended consecutively on PLEs, since years. I'm just happy for the tag team division. I just hope that the Raw ones gets booked by the SmackDown writers as well. And I think that was the show. I think I've discussed every match, and I think every match was enjoyable. I think the Rusev versus Sheamus match, you can say, was legit. Like people can argue, maybe a 5-star classing and everything. And Becky versus Nikki was probably the lowest point, but apart from that, every match was enjoyable. Even in the Becky versus Nikki match, the crowd was great. And I would give this a 3.25 out of 5 show. 3.25 out of 5 show. So that's what I gave it. So, what did you think about the show? What did you think about my review? Tell me in the comment section. If you like this type of content, like this video, share and subscribe. If you don't, then share it with those who do. My social media accounts, which are my Twitter/X account and my Instagram account, links are in the description. So go follow me on that. My UPI ID link, which is sharpboy@OKICICI, is also in the description. So go donate any amount of money which you can, which can help me make YouTube a permanent career option. So that was it for me for today. So thank you. Goodbye. Alvida.